Now, a retired diplomat to the ECOWAS Commission and Deputy Country Chair of the United Nations Economic and Social Council, Ambassador Haruna Warkani, is joining us live on the News Hour to unpack the implications of the decision by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to recall Nigeria's ambassadors from our foreign missions. Ambassador, thank you very much for coming on the program. Appreciate you very much for sparing the time. Let me get your initial thoughts on what you make of the president's decision to recall all ambassadors and non-career ambassadors back home.
Thank you, viewers. Well, it's interesting, starting from the recall of one ambassador and extended to now all, career and non-career. This is surely an issue that shouldn't have been, because looking back at what generally obtains around the world, you could see that this is a rather peculiar step taken by Nigeria. The diplomatic corps and practices is such that it's a process, and therefore to recall all ambassadors at a one fell swoop means something must have been wrong somewhere, either at the level of the presidency or the foreign ministry or elsewhere, because foreign relations between nations is a very complex thing, and it requires a lot of reflection. The implications of such a move also means that there is going to be some kind of disruption of the services that are usually enjoyed by Nigerians and non-Nigerians around the world. And mind you, appointing an ambassador is a process, including the letters of credence that needs to be verified by the host country and the rest of them. So usually the relations between nations are not seen as a one-kind thing, fit-all. So are you essentially, Ambassador, saying that this move is counterproductive because of its unusual nature? And I don't think that there's been precedence for something such as this. Yes, it is. It is surely counterproductive in the sense that the relations between Nigeria and individual countries across the world is complex and not the same across the board. And therefore, such a decision ordinarily shouldn't have been taken, because what it means is there are certain services at our embassies and high commissions that are suspended with such an announcement, because even the consular heads or charge d'affaires in some places cannot do certain things that are assigned to an ambassador. An ambassador's position is unique, and there are some things that are quite unique for the functions of the ambassador. A consular head cannot, for instance, fly Nigeria's flag on the car or something of that nature. There are some ceremonies that cannot be covered by any other person than the ambassador himself or herself. So in that regard, Nigeria has kind of done something that is unusual, very unusual, and perhaps counterproductive.
And how important is the diplomatic corps, especially in light of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope agenda and his communication to the international community? How crucial is the diplomatic corps, and what could he be missing out until he makes a replacement for all these ambassadors?
Well, our economic diplomacy will be affected severally in this regard, because nations will begin to read something in our body language as a nation, because diplomacy has some prerequisites, and this is one of them: stability and predictability. When you remove such, then you lose out the essence of the diplomacy itself. So that's why I said in the beginning, the foreign ministry perhaps must have missed out something in this regard, because it means foreign nations will begin to look at Nigeria as unpredictable, unstable, And it tells a lot about what we can do and what we cannot do.
So it sends a wrong message. Is that essentially the point?
It has already sent a wrong message if this news item were to be confirmed, to be very correct.
Okay, let's clear something. Ambassadors, non-career ambassadors, what is the difference and why is it important?
Well, career and non-career are just two classes of ambassadors. One is fully trained and retained by the Foreign Ministry for a career, just like any other service of the nation. The non-career ambassadors are those who, for political reasons or exigencies, are appointed to serve as ambassadors in various countries. And surely, most times, government try as much as possible to ensure that grade A countries receive career ambassadors for purposes of integrity and so many other reasons. So in this case, to lump all of them together and say they have been recalled. Recalling is a process that requires a lot of other things underground that nations don't normally talk about it.
Okay.
And then even if we are recalling, it shouldn't have been a public event.
Just in a few seconds before we let you go, give me an idea of whether this could also mean turning a new page as far as our foreign policy is concerned, and perhaps with all the body language of the administration, that is what the international community could read from this development. Well,
of course it is. A lot of imputations can be done through our national body language with this action. But surely, even if we have need to clean sweep this, for the fact that this is a party-to-party transition period, it shouldn't necessarily have been so, because we would expect such moves to only come when and if there were to be a change in government of a violent nature or a war situation.
Like a military coup, for instance.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
That would have been, could have been read to have meaning.
Okay.
But within the party, I think there is a problem that needs to be corrected, and it's not too late.
Right. I'm afraid, Ambassador, that's all the time we have for now. Thank you very much for joining us on the News Hour. We do appreciate your insight on this development. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, viewers.
Right.